Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you are users of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or any such popular apps, there is a fair bit of possibility that you may not be able to use it starting tomorrow, if the government is serious about the fact that these companies have actually avoided following government rules, regulations, and laws. These social media giants have not complied with government guidelines, and that is why the government is upset. 26th of May was the deadline given to them. The law that defines digital media ethics code aims to end the scourge of fake news, hate posts, online intimidation, and content regulation by social media platforms. The norms apply to any platform which has more than 50 lakh users and will come into effect this midnight. Yes, starting midnight this evening. If they do not accept the new guidelines, they will lose immunity and could face criminal action starting from the government, and this time it seems that the government means business. Before I get into the debate, I want to really give you an overview of what rules were about and what these companies were supposed to follow. Number one, all these social media companies had to appoint a chief compliance officer, a nodal contact person, and a resident grievance officer with their names and numbers or emails displayed very prominently for users who have complaints to contact them. Not only were they expected to publish the names and details of these grievance officers prominently, he was supposed to acknowledge grievance within 24 hours and dispose it off within 15 days. These companies were also supposed to deploy tools to identify harmful content and maintain appropriate human oversight with a periodic overview of such automated tools. And these automated tools are like pick up any hate words, flag them to people desired action, and these tools needed to be updated and reviewed. Now the grievance officer was supposed to also facilitate publishing of a monthly report on complaints received and action taken, transparency for viewers or for users who've had complaints. And most importantly, these social media companies would have had to give an opportunity to user before information is refused. So if they wanted to block your Twitter handle or make you a permanently deleted account on Twitter, they would have to inform you first. A show cause notice kind of a thing. The company would have been mandated to maintain appropriate oversight over a dispute resolution mechanism. And before I get into the debate on why these companies are not complying to rules, let me also read out the statement issued by Facebook on this controversy. In its reply to Times Now, Facebook has stated it would like to comply with the guidelines, but the social media platform also claimed that there are a few issues that need more engagement with the government, and this is how the opposition reacted to the guidelines on the social media.
But to show this strength of, we are arriving and almost like we are raiding the place, even if it's not a raid, it's a clear attempt to browbeat an important platform and a clear attempt to play with democracy.
उल्टा चोर कोतवाल को डांटे, ये तो सबने सुना है, परंतु मोदी सरकार ने ये कर दिखाया है। दोषी कौन है?
लेकिन ये सभी ट्विटर हो या सोशल मीडिया हो या टूल किट हो, सभी का इस्तेमाल बीजेपी ने अपने विरोधियों के खिलाफ भी पहले किया है। जब मामला उनके ऊपर उलट गया तो ये सब शुरू हो गया है।
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the news hour tonight: will the government block Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube starting midnight tonight? That's the question and the debate coming up on the other side. NDA versus Twitter FB. That's the hashtag and the debate coming up.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Aryama Sundaram, senior advocate, the sensible voice on issues as legal as this. Also joining me tonight is Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, BJP spokesperson, also senior advocate, Vivek Agnihotri, filmmaker, critic. He's called a right-wing social media user. Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. There is also Sanjay Jha, who is the suspended Congress leader. Abbas Hafiz, again political analyst and somebody who supports the Congress party. But my first question goes to Dr. Anand Ranganathan, a man who knows social media norms and a man who has huge following on Twitter at least. And I want to ask you, Anand Ranganathan, the companies haven't followed the guidelines. The deadline expires in just a few hours, 3 hours from now. The fact is, the government has found a lot wanting, but will it have the nerve to block these companies at a time when the foreign minister is in the United States negotiating for vaccines? We have this ugly brawl right here with American companies like Twitter, Facebook, and what have you.
Good evening, Navika. Look, I cannot be more clear. In a democracy, you have to follow the law of the land, even if you disagree with it, and follow it till such time it is changed or abrogated, or you get it changed. As simple as that. The reason I said in a democracy is because you don't have to follow it in an anarchy. And this is what we have seen time and again. These anarchists, fundamentalists, and sickle ninjas who don't believe in man-made laws, for them, right to protest is right to prevent. They don't mind blocking roads if it suits them. They don't mind marching amid COVID lockdowns and curfews if it suits them. They are a law unto themselves. Look, Navika, our constitution doesn't guarantee absolute freedom of expression. It has spawned dozens of laws that are draconian and subjective and tailor-made for misuse. And they have been misused, or rather, because they are draconian to begin with, used. I hate for myself Section 495A, the law for offending religious sensibilities. I detest the constitutional First Amendment. I want it to go. I hate Clause 2 of Article 19. But till such time it goes, I cannot deny anyone his or her right to follow it. Democracy is respecting a democratically passed law even if you detest it. And all these leftists and dynasty slaves who claim to stand for freedom of expression, they were demanding the arrest of Kamlesh Tiwari under the same 498 and wanted him hanged. Now for the second point. Many are now calling India a banana republic, saying Modi is a fascist because of this. Well, did Modi go back in time and bring the First Amendment? Did he bring the Section 495A, 498A? Did he draft the sedition law? Did he sanction Clause 2 of Article 19(1)? At worst, you can accuse him like I do of perpetuating a banana republic by continuing to have such draconian laws and amendments. Because the truth is, Navika, if India is a banana republic, then it has been one since it became a republic. But feeding on crumbs dynasty slaves will not say this. Because then you have to admit that it was your favorite Chachaji who is responsible for ushering and maintaining draconian fascistic laws and amendments and press objectionable acts and jailing editors, singers, poets, banning films and books and dismissing elected governments. That's why I call these chalky-faced children of Goebbels. Because it was Goebbels who said the first rule of propaganda is to accuse the other of what you're guilty of. They whitewash their own crimes with the help of their media lapdogs and stooges. They whitewash religious fundamentalism and fanaticism if the religion is not Hinduism. They whitewash application of draconian laws when it suits them. They say we speak truth to power, we speak truth to power. But the reality is they speak truth to Modi. Not to those in power who were or are and are from Congress or the left. बंद करो अपना ये धंधा और उठाओ अपनी टोकरी और निकलो पतली गली से खंबा बचा के. I'm fed up.
Well, let me get in Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari, what is the objection here? You know, there is much that has been made out about the fact that the Delhi police went and raided Twitter offices. May I ask you, when you headed a government, or Akhilesh Yadav, your chief, headed a government, would you allow people to break the law, whatever the law is? And that's the point Anand Ranganathan is making. The law exists, and under the law, there is a FIR that has been filed, and in that FIR, complaints have been made, which is being investigated. The police had asked Twitter to file a response, come and present themselves, give their evidence, etc. Twitter says, हमें नहीं पता. Ask United States of America, because these decisions get taken in the United States of America. So I want to ask you a simple question. Ghanshyam Tiwari, as an Indian, would you want Indian laws to be applied to companies and to people operating in India, or would you every time go back to the United States of America to find out what law applies here? If there is a mother whose daughter has been abused and her pictures have been circulated on social media, should she have to now wait for the United States of America company, Twitter, to decide in USA and then address the grievances that she's made over here? Why?
Well, the simple answer, Mahika ji, is that India must dictate the terms of social media to any company that plays in the Indian market. And each of these companies are not companies that are here for charity, they are here for business. But when you have a law minister who starts speaking like a school teacher to Mark Zuckerberg when Cambridge Analytica happened, as if he does not really mean his own words, it means that the social media company will take you lightly. When you have an entire government that is busy doing propaganda on the social media because it can win them votes, then the same social media companies will not take it lightly. At a time when India is facing pandemic, at a time when we are not able to provide drugs for black fungus, at a time when our states have been rejected for global tenders that this government messed up, at that time, if this government is busy fighting Twitter, it means that there are two parallel battles going on in this country. One battle is every viewer's battle, which is save their life, save their family.
I'm not understanding your argument, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari. Do you want, the government is not one entity. The government has several arms. Do you want the law minister to begin to manufacture vaccines now and carry them in a box, on his shoulders and start distributing it and not look at law because there is COVID? I don't get it. I don't get it. You are saying that the companies must be subjected to the laws. Arima Sundaram, do you agree with the argument made by Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari?
Argument worth speaking of. I cannot even begin to think it's an argument. In India, we have our laws, and everyone who operates in India, works in India, lives in India. Whoever operates out of India does have to subject themselves to the laws. Now, on this issue, Navika, let me say one thing. I myself am one of the greatest supporters of freedom of speech. I believe freedom of speech is one of the most valuable rights. It's a very foundation on which a democracy lies. However, unfortunately, there are creatures who cause this freedom of speech to be misused. And by misusing it, it becomes an issue where there have to be restraints. Now, the forefathers of our Constitution had seen this. They had foreseen this. And in fact, that's why 19(2) of the Constitution was included, which provided for restraints on the freedom of speech, which is why we always say that in India, while we have the widest amplitude of freedom of speech, it is not absolute, but is subject to certain restrictions. Now, the fact is that people like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., social media platforms are meant to have the maturity, are meant to have the sensibility, are meant to have the real essence of democracy in them to be able to self-regulate. They don't need to be regulated unless they misuse the self-regulation. Now, what has happened in this country is that people like Facebook, they have, sometimes you see what is on Facebook and you wonder how Facebook can plead that they are not liable for this. I, for one, strongly believe that if anything comes on these, which renders the person who has put it up liable to punishment, then I don't care whether you call them an intermediary, I don't care whether you call them a fiduciary storage or a fiduciary relationship which they have, I don't care what you call them. They should be equally culpable, equally liable. And I believe that freedom of speech is being completely misused by Facebook, by Twitter, by Instagram, by these handles. They are misusing it, and then they plead and say, what can we do? The material was put on our platform, and then it had to come out. It came out immediately. That's the nature of the beast. What can we do about it? Well, my answer is, find out what you can do about it and do something about it. And if you don't do something about it, you will be equally culpable. as a under 120, as a conspirator, you will be equally culpable as the person who has rendered himself liable to prosecution by what he has put up on these platforms. And I am so glad that the government of India has come up with what it has. At least if these people can't self-regulate, it has to be regulated by the government.
Well, let me ask Sanjay Jha. And Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you, because this is the law of the land. Section 79 of the Information Technology Act 2000. It allows the intermediary, that's what Twitter is called or Facebook is called, exempted from liability for content posted on its platform. And what it bars is intermediary must be passive facilitator and not embark on a mission to self-censor. And I want to ask you, in the present context, in the case of the toolkit, it is Twitter that puts manipulated next to Sambit Patra's tweet at a time when the investigation is on. It's not a passive onlooker. It's not an intermediary which is not giving its view. It's giving its verdict even before an investigation has been done. And that is why I am asking you, why should they not be liable to brand somebody in a manner when the investigation hasn't even reached its conclusion? Maybe the investigation will prove them right, but they'll have to wait. They can't give the judgment. They can't be the judge, jury, and give their judgment based on what they feel or what a complaint from your party actually tells them to do.
Navika, there is a very popular saying, it takes two to tango. Now, I've heard some great platitudes and pontifications in terms of what social media companies must do. I totally agree. We have a law of the land, and no company is an exception to that. I think it's ridiculous if we're going to waste our time debating an obvious rhetoric. It's a fact, nobody can deny it. But there is a bigger issue here, and that is called as the moral authority of a government. Navika, what are we talking about today? Mr. Sundaram, waxed eloquent on why we need to really take a social media firm to task if they put up posts that are provocative, antisocial, or whatever. Do I need to remind people on the show, including your viewers, of the famous Facebook controversy that happened not too long ago, where the Facebook's senior most director went on record to say that a certain violent, extremely anti-minority worded, it was ugly, malicious propaganda posted by a BJP MLA from Telangana continue to be on Facebook. You know why? It is on record. It is in the public domain. Because they said, we do not want to displease this government. There is something called as a moral compunction. Let me come down to the toolkit issue on Twitter. Please go ahead and question Twitter if they don't sign up to whatever agreement there is that the government wants them to sign. Be my guest, do it, we'll back you. But how can a political party that brazenly markets fake news, which is what these companies are supposed to stop, you market fake news at this time? I can tell you, and I will be honest, the Congress, Ghanshyam's party, every party is guilty at some stage or the other of a minor indiscretion or maybe even an organized effort at trying to spread fake news. But BJP has made fake news strategy. I mean, I don't have to tell anybody. It's you just have to Google it one day, and you can see the amount of fake news BJP has spread.
Sanjay Jha, I know what you're trying to say, but I don't understand the argument कि मैं थोड़ा सा चोर हूँ, वो मुझसे बड़ा चोर है. मैं थोड़ी सी चोरी करता हूं इसीलिए मुझे थोड़ा कम सजा देना, वो ज्यादा बड़ी चोरी करता है तो उस पे does our law actually begin to differentiate between two kinds of chore, that there is a one chore which has a good art, the other one is a large scale chore, so we should have a different law applying to them. Gaurav Bhatia, respond to Sanjay Jha.
So first of all, I was hearing Randeep Surjewala and he said ulta chor kotwal ko डांटे. तो कांग्रेस के लिए तो यही कहा जाएगा कि पहले तो चोरी फिर ऊपर से सीना चोरी. And Navika, the color of the bird doesn't matter, but law of the land, Constitution of India definitely matters. And let us understand the difference between, the internal policy of Twitter and the Information Technology Act under which these rules have been framed, the Indian Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code under which the Delhi police is inquiring into the matter. It hasn't even started investigation because, best to my knowledge, an FIR has not been registered. And my friend Sanjay Jha ji spoke about moral authority, and I will address that also. But above moral authority, Sanjay Jha ji, is legal and constitutional authority. When Parliament passes a law, the company decides to come to India, it has to play with the law of the country, it has to abide by it. It cannot have its own set of rules and standards that the country will abide with. And the best example is, in the US, there was a Senate which subpoenaed all the social media giants like Microsoft, Twitter and Facebook, and they adhered to it. What happened in Singapore? Very recently, there were posts that it is Singapore strain of COVID. The Singapore government said, dare you mention that? And they succumbed to pressure. They decided, yes, we will do that. But in India, if we are ensuring that they abide with the law that we have, there would be conspiracy theories. There will be theories that freedom of speech is being muzzled. But nobody tells me when Lay is shown in China by Twitter and we ask them to correct, is that not jeopardizing the national integrity? When there are
Radhika, quick rejoinder.
which charge the Indian army that Kashmiri youths are being murdered by Indian army, and then we try to correct it. The pseudo-liberals do not even come out. They don't even care about it. So let me say this, अगर हम लोग चिड़िया उड़ा सकते हैं, तो चिड़िया के पर काटना भी हम जानते हैं, and nobody is above the law. And last but not the least, Sanjay bhai, if you have a problem with anything that the government is doing, आपको पता होगा थोड़ी चोरी और ज्यादा चोरी क्या होती है.
अभी जवाब देता हूं
पार्टी का
आपको.
चरित्र है. But यहाँ पे courts हैं. There is a Supreme Court and the states have the High Court. You move the court and let the court decide कि किसने चोरी करी है, किसने सीना चोरी करी है.
Navika, 30 seconds.
We all know Cambridge Analytica model.
Not all right, but Gaurav Bhatia, I must object to your language simply because आप कहते हैं अगर आप चिड़िया उड़ा सकते हैं तो आप पर भी काट सकते हैं. तो ठीक है, कल से रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव टैक्स लगा दीजिए, कल से लॉ चेंज कर दीजिए, सारी चिड़ियों को काट दीजिए. इन्वेस्टमेंट कहां से आएगी, नौकरी कहां से आएगी, वैक्सीन कहां से आएगी, ग्लोबल रिलेशनशिप्स का क्या होगा? You know, this is number one. Number two, the question I want to ask you, there is an aggrieved party which is the BJP. Today, the question that arises is, why is the government taking up cudgels on behalf of a political party, the BJP? Because the government does not have to seem to be picking up a political fight on an issue that has to be legal. And that question will have to be answered by the government, Gaurav Bhatia.
Radhika, give me 5 seconds to respond to it, please.
Metaphorically, I said, अगर चिड़िया उड़ाते हैं तो उसके पर काटते हैं. I gave you two examples. Abrogation of Article 370.
नहीं, आप मेटाफोरिकली कहेंगे, लेकिन धमकी की तरह सुनाई देगा. धमकी की तरह सुनाई दिया.
कोई बात नहीं, आप मेरी बात पूरी हो जाए. जिसको जो समझना है वो समझेगा. I'll make it very clear. And second example I gave when Twitter was abused and misused to say Lay belongs to China. Now coming to the other part, tell me, under the Criminal Procedure Code, a complaint is given. The Delhi police, as the investigating agency, will probe into the matter and then they will come to a conclusion. Either they will register an FIR or not. Now what is there that is violated in law? Nothing. And second, look at Raman Singh ji. In Chhattisgarh also, law has been abused. But Raman Singh ji, even being a former chief minister, abided with law. We never cried, political vendetta ho gaya, ye kya ho raha hai, freedom of speech. Rather, I would say, the same way, let Delhi police do its job. We can't have double standards. Chhattisgarh mein Raman Singh ji ko summon kiya gaya over nothing.
Well said.
That is fine.
Sanjay Jha wants to rebut you. Quick
Radhika,
10 seconds to Sanjay Jha before I go to Abbas Hafiz.
Yeah. I don't think Gaurav is probably aware. Maybe he's usually very well prepared for a show. That your government actually told Twitter to take down several posts and handles of the people whose views were getting you very riled, agitated, and upset because they dissented with your opinion. You see, don't give us lectures on freedom of expression and open democracy because you don't believe in it. Guess what? Twitter had to give you a lecture. Twitter had to tell you that these are unlawful acts that we cannot undertake because they violate India's constitution. So if a social media company has to tell you what the laws of the land are, your government has a lot to explain to the people of this country. Democracy, by the way, is not something that is your fundamental right. It is mine, it is Navika's, it is everybody's. And you cannot come on a show and say "Chiriya ki pank kaat lenge," which is sounding like a very blatant threat.
Okay.
I mean, for God's sake, everybody knows India has become an illiberal democracy.
One minute. Let me also point out Abbas Hafiz. For a party which suspended laws of the land, which suspended elections and declared a state of emergency because they lost an election and a court order, which declared their election null and void. It's a pretty rich thing coming in that laws of the land must be followed, or you're doing some strong arm tactics with Twitter. I want to ask you, Mr. Abbas Hafiz, Singapore puts pressure on Twitter, Twitter buckles on the Singapore strain usage. India complains, Indian strain, nobody wants to take a notice. And you think different strokes for different countries is something that we should accept? Why? Because we are, as a race, lower, we have per capita income which is less, and therefore we should, treat these companies that come from abroad as our lords and masters. Is that what you want us to do in India?
See, first of all, Navika ji, this government, we need to understand the reason why 7 years. But when they are being exposed on Twitter, when they are being constantly exposed on social media platforms, they want to cut their feathers, like Gaurav Bhatia has said, because they don't want their image to be, dented. They are more concerned about their image and not about the nation. This hashtag should be BJP versus Twitter and Facebook, because they are against Twitter and Facebook right now, who made the government in 2014 because of Twitter and Facebook only. Now, first of all, they need to understand and they need to start believing more in the parliamentary procedures, and less in vendetta politics. They are more into vendetta politics because they want to suppress all the voices which are exposing them like anything. Internationally, globally, and Twitter and Facebook were the platforms and are the platforms who helped a number of people when the government failed in helping the people during the second wave peak of corona crisis. So they just want to save their image. They want to be against all these things because they want to suppress the voices. Gaurav Bhatia, you have spoken a lot. I just want to make one last comment. They were not all interested in doing anything, but when they were after Twitter to bring down few profiles, few handles which were very much vocal against the government's policies, wrong policies. When Twitter objected and when Twitter has not cooperated, they started doing all these things against them. Their intention should be clean. Their intention should be very much clear and honest, which unfortunately they are lacking.
Gaurav Bhatia, quick rebuttal before I go to Vivek Agnihotri.
Okay, so my friend Sanjay Jha said that certain posts were removed. I think there was a vacuum because of policy paralysis in the UPA government. And now rules have been formed and we have to follow that. And Sanjay ji, let me tell you that when Rahul Gandhi says Supreme Court...
Why don't you believe in discussing anything in Parliament?
Whoever is speaking, can I complete myself, sir? Please? I think you got your opportunity.
Resume it so that I can speak later.
So you just wait, take a deep breath, relax and wait. Thanks. So I just want to say when Rahul Gandhi spreads the propaganda that the Supreme Court has said that Rafale is a scam and then later apologizes, what is that? Should that not be regulated? When it is said that through CA, the citizenship of the Muslims of the country will be taken away, repeatedly, I think it is inciting communal feelings and it should be regulated upon, it should be checked. And to my friend who talks about the Parliament, the IT Act under which the rules have been framed, the Indian Penal Code, CRPC, are all legislation enacted in the Parliament. So you don't.
So why you were not executing all these laws
No,
in the
I'm
last
asking
7
you.
years?
It's
Because
a question to
Twitter
you.
was helping
You
you
said
when you were
parliamentary
getting
laws.
when you were
I'm telling
being
you,
benefited from the
these
social
are all
media.
laws and
You never
No.
cared about the laws. When you are being
I want to come in. I want to come in. And Vivek Agnihotri, now laws are boiling down to the fact. Are you complaining now because Twitter has become slightly left of center and you are seen as slightly right of center? Earlier it was helping you, now it's not helping you. Is that the debate, or is the debate on whether Twitter and Facebook, are they intermediaries, platforms without any participation, or are they people who will participate and give a certain color or a certain editorial labeling on certain things? Isn't that the moot point, rather than the fact that these are favoring one person today and favoring another person tomorrow? Vivek, I think you are on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Navika, there's a saying that an unregulated horse always throws you off the cliff. So I have listened to everybody's question. Let me just bring absolutely new perspective to this debate. Let me tell you, I am for absolute freedom of speech. In fact, I believe that even hate speech should also be part of free speech. But I put my duty as a citizen over my romantic ideas, I put the internal security over idealism. And I put the future of India before my revolutionary ideas, unlike my very good friend Sanjay Jha. So let me just tell you something. Today itself, just to illustrate an example so that the common listeners understand what the debate is all about. Today itself, one of the most, the poster boy, a fact checker of the liberal left ecosystem has posted a fake tweet with the name ANI, saying that the Twitter will stop functioning at 12 midnight, which is absolutely fake news. And on top of that, then he says India now under Vishwaguru is becoming Iran of Khomeini, is becoming Afghanistan of Taliban, and like Anand said, becoming Banana Republic. So let me tell them that India is not a banana republic because we have a law of the land. But if you do not regulate social media, India will soon become banana republic. And my reasons are like this. Social media is not so social. It is used for terrorism. It is used for cyber war. It's used for all kinds of legal war, sex trade, drug trade, every single crime you can ever imagine of. Do you know that in Kashmir, they don't use Facebook? They have something called Cashbook. Mr. Jha doesn't know that. Mr. Jha is a very sober man, so he doesn't know that. Like the dark history of Congress, there is
Mr. Jha will respond to you, Mr. Agnihotri,
social media.
don't you worry.
And it is used for all kinds of illegal things. And this is not an Indian problem. It is a global problem. It's a problem of humanity. Now, just let me illustrate my own example, Navika, and it's very important. I have served for last 3 years on PBFC board. Wherever I go, every single parent tells me why OTT and social media is not regulated like television. Isn't television news regulated? TV entertainment programs are regulated. Why not social media?
Well,
in the end, just give me
this is not about censorship. This is no. That is a separate debate. Censorship is a separate debate. The question here is the intermediary interfering and putting its own labels? And that is the question, Anand Ranganathan. Censorship is a whole new debate. The question is grievances. The question is labeling.
Navika, one submission.
Yes, Navika, as I said, please. Now, sir, I've got a chance after a long time. Please just give me a couple of minutes, please. Thank you so much. Navika, can I?
I'm running out of time. No couple of minutes. Quick points, please. Yes, Anand Ranganathan.
Yes, and Navika, if you look at the government guidelines, let me very quickly, less than a minute. Number one, on receiving a court order or being notified by a government agency, the intermediary will need to remove any unlawful information. Number two, the intermediary will also have to provide information to government agency for investigative or protective or cyber security activities. Number three, the intermediary needs to appoint a grievance officer, as you said. Number four, the intermediary would need to publish a monthly compliance report. Now, personally, I am not for these laws, but as I said, in a scenario that a platform doesn't conform to absolute freedom of expression, the monopoly of bias in a democracy should rest with the constitution, not the platform. I'd much rather a judge ban me than a platform. Navika, 10 seconds. I believe in absolute freedom of speech. I believe no one, least of all the government or a social media platform, should abridge or curtail it, with the commonsensical exception of imminent, verifiable military secret. But does Twitter think this? Absolutely not.
Same rules, justice says, should apply to everybody who is a user or everybody who is on a platform. But Sharjeel Usmani can put out a hate speech. He's just asked to delete his tweet. His account is not touched. Kangana Ranaut, hate out, permanently removed from the platform. If the Singapore government objects to the use of Singapore strain, well, that will be adhered to. But if the Indian government objects to the fact that Indian strain is being used and such should not be allowed to go, no action from Twitter. And in this particular case, it is the BJP that is being labeled as a manipulated based on the Congress complaint. Investigation not complete. What if it was the other way around? Will we change laws only because the aggrieved party happens to be an X party and the complaining party happens to be a Y party? What if these roles are reversed? Will we still continue to object to these? And basically the question is, there is government guidelines and there is a timeline on them. Facebook comes out and says, we need to engage more. Well, the deadline expires tonight. If you wanted to engage, you should have engaged earlier. Why on the day the deadline expires? Question that needs to be asked. Will Indians be governed by Indian laws, or will Indians be governed by laws that are made by a company in the United States of America? And that is the basic question. Where do you stand on it, viewers? Tell us, write to us, because this story is not dying down anytime soon. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on this big debate.